All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The Cleveland Browns continue to be one of the most inept franchises in all of professional sports, okay? And look no further than the Browns handling or current handling of Pro Bowl defensive end Myles Garrett as more clear-cut evidence to that. The Browns just finished off a 3-14 campaign, and afterwards, Garrett let it be known that he wanted to be traded, and he has not backed off of that. Okay, since then we've seen Cleveland be willing to offer Myles Garrett more money in the tune of a contract extension, which he immediately refused, as his frustration is not about finances at this point. Bottom line is Myles Garrett wants to be part of a winner, and it's not going to happen in Cleveland anytime soon. I talked about this a couple of weeks, and I'm talking about it again right now because Browns general manager Andrew Berry has already publicly stated that the franchise has no intentions of trading Garrett. And recently, when Myles Garrett attempted to procure a meeting with Browns team owner Jimmy Haslam in order to express with him his face-to-face his desire to no longer play for the team. He was basically met with the old "Don't ask me, ask him" bit in reference to Andrew Berry because he's the guy who handles all of the football stuff. And honestly, we clearly don't need any more evidence about the ineptitude of this Browns organization. You look at Myles Garrett, okay, clearly, hands down, one of the best players in the history of the Browns, especially since they returned to the NFL back in 1999. And for the illustrious history of the Cleveland Browns, and believe it or not, they truly do have an illustrious history. Brown is the only player in franchise history to record at least 100 sacks. But like I said before, Myles Garrett has gotten tired of losing. And with so much uncertainty surrounding Deshaun Watson at quarterback, the 29-year-old Garrett wants to continue his career someplace else with a contender. But like I've said before, why keep somebody within your organization who basically does not want to be there? I totally get and understand the business aspect of it, but at the end of the day, the Browns are no closer to contending for a title this season than they are for the upcoming season, at least, than they were at season's end. And it's not going to be so much that's going to change with them roster wise between now, the draft, free agency, and the start of next season to turn around and say, you know what? Cleveland's got what it takes to go out there and win the Super Bowl. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. This has the makings of getting very nasty, okay, between the Browns and Garrett if they don't trade him. Because if they don't trade him, guess what? He's going to be a no show at the beginning of training camp. I truly do believe. And if he does come in, and when he does come in, there's going to be the questions about him. There's going to be questions not only to Myles Garrett, there's going to be questions to his teammates, his coaches, everybody. And at the end of the day, the guy simply doesn't want to be there. I talked about it before. I understand the aspect that if the Browns trade Myles Garrett now, their cap hit is much more immense than if they waited till after June. However, trading Garrett after June, the picks that you would get back aren't going to help you for 2025. So it's kind of a toss up as far as which dynamic as far as which avenue that you want to take on this. Nonetheless, a guy like Myles Garrett, you simply don't replace on your roster. I totally get it. I totally understand it. But he, like the rest of us, is probably looking at that Browns roster on both sides of the football and saying, hey, you know what? We really don't have much of a chance to go out there and be a winner in 2025. Get me to some place where I do have that opportunity. You think about it, it's one of those where the Browns are not a player or two away from turning this thing around. And you're looking also at the growing market for edge rushers right now in the NFL. We just saw Joey Bosa get released earlier this week by the Chargers. Harold Landry with the Tennessee Titans as well. Another premier defensive end, Max Crosby, was growing frustrated with the Vegas Raiders, and the Vegas Raiders has basically gave him some hush money as they made him the highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League. That's not going to fly with Myles Garrett. He can get money regardless of where he goes. Like I said before, he just wants to win. And you've had teams who have already inquired about Myles Garrett, and the Cleveland Browns have simply said no. And again, I think they're going to come back and they're going to regret that. And again, like I said before, the Browns just continue to be a bad run organization. I mean, it's one of those situations where somebody there needs to take the bull by the horns on this situation, and they're not doing it. Whether it's Jimmy Haslam, whether it's Andrew Berry, whomever, something's got to go out there and get done. And like I said, this saga is only going to get worse before it gets better. At the end of the day, Myles Garrett will get traded. Um, I would be extremely surprised if Myles Garrett plays another down in a Cleveland Browns uniform. That's just my thoughts on it. And like I said, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. You've got some NFC teams out there that are interested in Garrett's services. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. You've got the Washington Commanders, and I'm sure there's several other teams out there who would love to have Myles Garrett rushing the passer in their favor come the 2025 season. But again, it's just another case of a bad team. And you can get paid, yeah, but at the end of the day, these guys want to win. But it simply sums up the Cleveland Browns in so many ways. But nonetheless, will they finally come around to their senses and make Myles Garrett happy? Only time will tell. But folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.